if you bring a management company on board, you have to pay a fee. So you're initially losing income, which I quite understand. But you gain an awful lot more by instructing and working with a management company. A lot of people, and I hear it a lot, is how difficult is it? It can't be that hard. All you're doing is dropping a key off to someone. It is not. I could bore you now for hours and hours, if not days, probably weeks, of the stories that we have and the situations we've come across where things are not straightforward as what people believe them to be. By having a management company that knows and understands, there are multiple reasons, but to highlight a few: pricing. How do you price your property? Why are you pricing it differently during seasons? How early are you changing that pricing? Whether that's summer. Of course, in Dubai, as we know, the market does drop, a lot less tourism, etc. But when are you dropping that pricing? You're doing it a day before, a week before, a month before. Even with high season, how high do the prices go? There's that situation with pricing. You can only learn that. You can't be taught it. You can't be told it. You can only see that after months, years, or in my case, 5 years of doing this, to understand the pattern and how that works. Now, there is software that you can buy, but how does the software know what your furnishing is, what your view is? It doesn't. So with us, we price each property to its strengths, and we actually do it manually. I've never come across a company that does this, but our figures prove, how effective it is. Here now today, we're running at 97.2% occupancy, and have done now consecutively around that figure for the last 8 weeks. As a company, we've been 94% average occupancy for the last 4 years. So it's a significant figure, and that demonstrates that perhaps what we are doing is the right way to do it. Now, it is incredibly laborious, but we are here to perform for our clients. We are here to put their best interests first. And if that means we've got to work late, then we've got to work late. But what I enjoy about doing the pricing in particular is that it gives me first-hand, at the coalface data. What is that market doing? We have a full team behind us, so whether that's a guest relations team, whether that's an operations team, that know and understand how to deal with guests, know how to deal with a guest when there's a leak and lots of water is coming through the ceiling at 2 o'clock in the morning. We know how to deal with that. We know how to deal with the booking platform that they've booked through when if a complaint is raised. Nothing is perfect. Things are going to happen that you can't foresee. But how reactive can you be on that? Are you going to be reactive at 2:30 in the morning? We are. We have a 24/7 guest relations team reacting to any guest inquiry, issue, whatever that may be. If you are doing it yourself, are you going to be up at 3 a.m. dealing with a leak? I don't know. Our own maintenance team, as I discussed, the reason that we brought this in-house, they're incredibly reactive. When you're relying on a third party, will they turn up? Won't they turn up? How much are they going to charge you? The people coming in, are they presentable? They're going to do the right job? Our staff are. They are there. We have staff who are on a maintenance team who are out and about in Dubai all the time. So if there is an issue in different communities, they're not far away from it and can be reactive very, very quickly. I've already touched on the whole furnishing concept. We understand that market. We know what sells. We're here, and I explain this to clients, we're not here to furnish for what we want. With all respect, we're not here to furnish for what our client wants. We're here to furnish for what we know the guest wants, the market. We want to make sure that we are getting bookings and achieving income for that client. Guests don't necessarily read descriptions. They look at the pretty pictures, they look at the location, they look at the price point, and then they will book. I'm not saying everybody does that, but we have ways of understanding what guests are looking at, and majority will look at those photos. Now, this does come back to, again, presenting the property in the best possible light. That's the furnishing. The furnishing doesn't look good, but the photography is great. You're still not going to succeed. So make sure that property is presented. And it goes back to another point as well. This market's there's a lot of competition, as I was explaining earlier. So you have to up your game with that. But anyway, back onto the photos. So if you're going to spend money and get the product right, you've got to make sure that it's presented right, because why do half the job? Do the whole job. So we're very different in the market again. We will put up onto Airbnb anything between 60, 70 and 80 pictures. Some people question why we do this, and we said, well, there's multiple reasons. One, because we're explaining to that guest via the picture form what property they are booking and what they're checking into. We have nothing to hide. In fact, we're so proud of what we're doing, we want to show it off in every possible light. If there is any concerns or questions about the property, what it offers, what it doesn't offer, a lot of it is in the photos anyway. So if we're seeing that a guest predominantly is looking more at photos rather than reading descriptions, why aren't we pushing that as hard as we can? Why aren't we getting, whether it's the clarity right, whether it's the angles right, or whether it's the quantity of photos right, we as AirDXB want to put as much resource into that, whether that's financial or manpower, to get that right. Again, that reflects we're a 94% average occupancy agency for the last 4 years, and here now in summer we're having around 95, 96%. So it works. From our perspective, yes, we charge a fee, but when we look at how much more money we're going to make that client, 2, 3, 4 times what our fee is, most likely, because we have a knowledge and an understanding, whether that's the pricing, whether it's being reactive to maintenance issues to save bookings, whether it's presenting the property with furnishing in the right situation, whether it's having a guest relations team that knows how to conduct themselves with a guest to keep them happy. We have these different resources to make sure that we are billing at the highest possible rate. Then when you look at the fee that we're charging, it's not a lot. In fact, I should put it up.